You're walking alone on a trail. No tent, no campfire, no group. Just you in the forest. And somewhere off to your left, maybe 30 meters away, something large is watching you. You can feel it before you see it. That specific pressure of being observed by something that hasn't decided what to do with you yet. You turn your head slowly, and there it is, a wolf, standing completely still at the tree line, looking directly in your direction. Your eyes meet, and then something happens that nobody ever talks about. It looks away, not because it's scared, not because it didn't see you. It looked straight at you, processed you completely, and then deliberately moved its gaze to the side. You stand there for a few more seconds. It doesn't move. You keep walking. It doesn't follow. Why? Seriously, think about what just happened. That animal had every sensory advantage. It smelled you before you entered the trail. It heard your footsteps from 500 meters away. It saw you in near darkness with vision calibrated for exactly this environment. And when your eyes met, it looked away first. The reason it did that is one of the strangest and most revealing facts about what humans actually are. And it starts not with predators, but with a specific part of your face. The human eye is anatomically unique among all primates and among almost all mammals. Every other primate species has a dark sclera, the white part of the eye. In chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, the area surrounding the iris is brown or dark gray, which makes it difficult to track exactly where the animal is looking. The human eye is the opposite. Our sclera is bright white, and it contrasts sharply with the colored iris at the center. This means that any animal looking at a human face can track the direction of our gaze with extreme precision. Scientists call this the cooperative eye hypothesis. The leading theory is that white sclera evolved in humans to facilitate communication and coordination within social groups. When you need to silently signal to a hunting partner where the prey is, or warn a group member about a threat without making noise, visible gaze direction becomes a powerful tool. But that same feature does something else entirely when directed at another species. It turns the human eye into one of the most readable threat signals in the natural world. In 2013, researchers at the University of Kyoto conducted a series of experiments on how chimpanzees and human infants respond to gaze direction when searching for hidden food. They found that chimpanzees followed the head direction of a human experimenter rather than the eye direction when the two conflicted. Human infants did the opposite. They followed the eyes. The interpretation was clear. Chimpanzees, our closest relatives, had not evolved to read the human eye as a reliable signal. But something interesting emerged from the follow-up studies. When the same chimpanzees were exposed repeatedly to direct human eye contact in a neutral context, with no food, no threat, no interaction, they consistently displayed stress behaviors, increased cortisol, avoidance, looking away first. Not because they understood what the gaze meant in human social terms, but because sustained direct eye contact from any species is one of the oldest threat signals in vertebrate biology. And the human eye, with its bright white sclera making gaze direction unmistakably readable, amplifies that signal to a level most animals find deeply uncomfortable. A lion makes eye contact with prey before a charge. A dominant wolf holds eye contact to assert hierarchy. A threatening primate stares to signal aggression. Across vertebrate species, the sustained direct gaze of another animal communicates one thing above almost everything else. I am assessing whether to engage with you. And the human eye, uniquely visible and uniquely precise, delivers that signal with a clarity no other species produces. When a wild animal breaks eye contact with you, it is not ignoring you. It is performing a submission signal. It is communicating in the oldest possible language that it has decided not to treat this as a confrontation. Now here is where it gets genuinely strange. Because what researchers studying large predator behavior have documented is that this response is not learned individually. A wolf raised in captivity with no negative experience of humans will still show gaze aversion when a human makes sustained direct eye contact. A young lion in a sanctuary, hand raised from birth, still demonstrates measurable stress responses to prolonged direct human gaze compared to the same interaction with familiar handlers who use indirect gaze. The response appears to be partially hardwired, which means it has a selection history. Somewhere in the evolutionary past of these animals, the ones that treated direct human eye contact as a threat signal and responded with appeasement behaviors rather than escalation survived at higher rates than the ones that didn't. That pattern repeated across enough generations to become baseline behavior. You are not making animals uncomfortable by accident. You are triggering a biological response that was written into their nervous systems by thousands of years of surviving encounters with you. But the eye contact effect doesn't operate alone. It works in combination with something about human posture that amplifies the signal dramatically. Humans are one of the very few large mammals that move through the world in a fully upright bipedal stance, with the face oriented directly forward. Most prey animals have laterally positioned eyes, giving them wide panoramic vision but limited forward focus. Most predators have forward-facing eyes for depth perception but orient their bodies toward targets when assessing them. Humans walk around constantly in the body posture that other animals only adopt when they are actively focusing on something. The forward-facing eyes, the upright spine, the direct frontal orientation is a permanent threat display. Every step you take through a forest looks to the animals watching, like you are continuously targeting something. Add sustained eye contact to that posture and the signal becomes overwhelming. You are not just looking at the animal. You are an upright, forward-oriented, wide-eyed creature that has locked its uniquely readable gaze directly onto it. In predator-prey body language, that combination means one thing, and it is not prey behavior. There is a related phenomenon that wildlife researchers have documented extensively, but that rarely makes it into popular coverage. Animals do not just avoid human eye contact in the moment of encounter. They modify their entire movement patterns to reduce the probability of future eye contact with humans. GPS tracking studies on wolves in areas with regular human presence show that wolves don't simply move away from humans when encountered. They restructure their daily movement to use different corridors, different timing, different terrain, specifically choosing routes where the probability of a face-to-face encounter is minimized. They are not just reacting to eye contact, they are engineering their lives to avoid it. The same pattern has been documented in mountain lions in California, leopards in areas bordering human settlements in India, and brown bears across Scandinavia. They shift to nocturnal activity in areas where humans are active during the day, not only because night reduces overall encounter probability, but because darkness specifically reduces the effectiveness of the human eye as a signaling tool. They have identified the condition under which your most powerful threat signal is weakest, and they have moved their lives into that condition. Now here is the part that most people are not ready for. Because the gaze aversion you see in wild animals is not just a response to perceived danger. In some species, it appears to be something closer to a social acknowledgement. Researchers studying human-wildlife interaction in areas where large predators and humans have coexisted for long periods have documented what they describe as negotiated space behavior. Animals that have had regular, non-harmful contact with humans over extended time develop what appears to be a ritualized interaction protocol. They approach to a certain distance. They make brief eye contact to register your presence. Then they look away as a signal that they are not initiating conflict. Then they go about their business. It looks uncomfortably like the way two people who know each other pass in a hallway without stopping. A functional social acknowledgement between species that have learned, over a very long time, how to share space without it turning into something neither of them wants. Here is what science can say with confidence. The human eye, with its uniquely visible white sclera, is the most readable gaze direction signal of any large mammal on Earth. Sustained direct human eye contact triggers measurable stress responses in large predators, including wolves, lions, and bears, regardless of prior individual experience. Multiple large predator species have restructured their movement patterns specifically to minimize face-to-face human encounters. These behaviors appear to be partially heritable rather than purely learned, suggesting a selection history involving human-predator encounters spanning thousands of generations. What science cannot fully answer is what the animal is actually experiencing in the moment it looks away. Whether there is something that functions like recognition, like the processing of a social signal between two entities that have a long and complicated shared history. Whether the wolf at the tree line that held your gaze for 2 seconds and then looked away was doing something that in any meaningful sense resembles what you were doing when you looked back. So go back to that trail, the wolf at the tree line. The moment your eyes met and it looked away first, you felt something in that moment. Something that wasn't quite fear and wasn't quite recognition, but was somewhere between the two. That feeling has a name in evolutionary biology. It is the sensation of two species that have been shaping each other's behavior for so long that the interaction has its own grammar, its own rules, its own etiquette. The wolf looked away because something very old in its nervous system recognized something very old in yours. Not a thought, not a decision. A response built across thousands of generations of encounters exactly like this one. You looked at it. It understood what that meant. And it told you, in the only language that predates every human word ever spoken, that it was not looking for a fight. Neither were you. And somehow, without either of you deciding anything, you both already knew that.